Well, good morning and welcome to the Bullitt County Fiscal Court. Good morning, everyone. Today is September the 5th of 2023. It's now 9:30 a.m. And at this time, Mr. Griffey, if you will lead us in an invocation and a pledge, please, sir.
If y'all will pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to meet, discuss the issues at hand. Lord, be with each member of this court and everyone here. Keep us all in your way. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Griffey. At this time, Kevin, would you call the roll to bring the Bullitt County Fiscal Court to order on September the 5th at 9:30, 2023?
Ms. Sanders?
Present.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes. Thank you. Treasurer's transfer report, Canan, please.
Yes, Judge. Dated September the 5th of 2023 for your approval.
I'll put in the form of a motion that we accept the treasurer's transfer report.
I second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders to approve the Treasurer's transfer report as presented. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Thank you. Presentation and approval of all bills.
Make a motion that we accept the presentation and approval of all bills.
I'll second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Bleemel, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to approve the bills as presented on September the 5th of 2023. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes for the August 15th of 2023 meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes for August 15th, 2023. I'll second.
Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Sanders, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to approve the minutes of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court dated August 15th of 2023. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Mr. Bleemel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Thank you. Do we have a sign-in sheet?
Yeah. There's one.
Let me get a... Thank you. Lindsay Hammonds, 987 Brooks Schoolhouse Road.
Hello, how are you guys today?
Oh, good.
Fine.
Awesome. So I was here, and a couple people from the Brooks community, we were here about probably 3 years ago, and the matter is the dump trucks on Brooks Hill Road. The gentleman that was currently, maybe like in 2019, 2020, that was currently operating an illegal commercial dump truck business up on the hill has then been shut down. That's been taken care of. However, now there is another company that has started. So he sold his property to Gawler in 2020. And so now we are having the same issue. So it's almost like as soon as it ended and we got everything taken care of, this other company came in and has restarted. At first, I do recall that a female had came forward and told everybody, because, you know, on the Brooks page, she had come forward and used that forum to speak, and she had stated that they were going to build a house. And so for the most part, I think everybody was kind of apprehensive about it because we had been told that from the prior gentleman. And so I thought, you know, let's just give them a chance. You never know, you know. So we kind of sat back, and as things have transpired, it's been the same the same thing that we've already dealt with. Now it looks like it is a full-fledged commercial operation. They have large equipment up there on their property. It is set up as a dump truck facility. So I have noticed just personally, the dump trucks coming up and then exiting, and they have loads. So they're dumping and then they're taking. And I don't know if you guys know, I'm not sure, but I feel like that's probably zoned residential. I don't believe it's zoned commercial. So that was one of the big concerns, is it's a commercial business operating in a residential area. And my main concern is just the safety for our area, because, you know, I hear the people speak. So I try to kind of fill in the gap to help that. I see a lot of it. I run, own, and maintain the Brooks Ballpark. So I do see a lot of it, and then I get concerned because the little kids coming in and out of there with practicing and stuff like that. But yeah, I just want to make sure that I got up and spoke today and just kind of voice my concerns with that.
Okay. Well, Lindsay, we'll look into it.
Okay.
Promise. We did the last time, so we'll.
Okay. Yes, you guys were great. You've been a blessing.
I mean, it takes time, but it's a lot of hard. Anyway, the research and anyway, we have a lot of new folks, and we'll get her going.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Can I say one thing?
Sure.
Lindsay, I want to thank you for coming today and expressing your concerns. However, the judge and I have spoken about the issues up there, and we are working toward things.
Yep. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Tara, Bullitt County tax rate presentation. Miss Mann, would you like to join her? Okay, gotcha. Miss Mann's the chairman of the board. There you go.
Hi, thank you for having me. My name is Tara O'Hagan, and I have been a librarian for 30 years, and I have been at the Bullitt County Public Library for almost a year. In a couple weeks, it'll be 1 year since I've been hired. I want to thank you again for having me, and that I've sat here for 8 months. Judge Summers knows, and I will come to every fiscal court meeting to hear what's going on in the county, because it interests me. I grew up in the Hillview area, so I'm really familiar with that. I attended the Hillview Public Library when I was a child, and the current manager there was my librarian now. So it's exciting to be part of that. Every time I sit in fiscal court, I listen to people come in and ask you for things. They ask you for rezoning. They ask you to look into issues. They ask you for equipment, budget, of course. They may just ask you for support or for just an acknowledgement. And the library is not here for anything different, except we're here to ask you what we can do to help you. The Bullitt County Public Library has done so much for the community besides just story times and programs. We have meeting rooms that fit 700 people in our new central library that are used for community events. The county schools use them all the time for all of their training. Businesses use them for interviewing. Organizations use them for meetings. The Women's Club is having their centennial tea there. We're doing the Windstream agreement with the county announcement at the library. And of course, individuals use them just to search for jobs. We love our Library of Things. If you haven't seen our Library of Things, we call it the try it before you buy it, or don't buy it at all. If you need to pressure wash and you don't want to pay someone, or even have the ability to afford to pay someone, we have pressure washers that can be checked out. You have bubble machines. We have games. We have equipment that can do blood pressure and health. We have equipment that'll tell you what's wrong with your car, so you don't have to take it if you're already a mechanic. So our Library of Things is at all 5 locations now, as well as hotspots, because we know not everyone in our county has the ability to get internet to their services, to their homes, especially we know the Nichols area and the Lebanon Junction area. We offer hotspots, Chromebooks, and wireless at all of our branches, including still Ridgeway Memorial. We have 24/7 at the Ridgeway and at Nichols Library. That's like a vending machine. You can go at any time and you scan your library card, you pick C7 and the book comes down a conveyor belt, or a video, or any other material. We also have a maker lab at the new Central Library and a digital media lab. So there's some keychains back there also. You'll see it's the shape of the county of Bullitt County. These were all made on our 3D printers from all 5 of our locations. There's some back for anyone who would like to enjoy them also. You're more than welcome to take those. We have sublimation printing. We have Cricut and sewing machines, as well as heat presses. Those are all for free. The library is a completely free event. We don't charge for renting or reserving our rooms. We don't charge for taking out any material. We have people from all over the country that log into our databases, not just from the Bullitt County area. So some of the things we've done in the past, of course, everyone sees our central library. It's the biggest library. We just went into the American Library Association's. We won part of their design showcase, so we've been in their magazine. We republished that out September 1st. We won an American Institute of Architecture award, and I'll hint, there may be another one coming. We are known across the United States. We have visitors every month come to visit our library because of the greatness that it is, the architecture. We have found that we are giving 50% back with our solar panels on top of the roof. We plan to advance that into other locations. We also have started our Friends of the Library back, which is a dedicated community members. A lot of them work, but sent good support for us today. They will be assisting with programming, advocacy at the local and state level, as well as federal, as well as just being a volunteer system for our huge summer quest. Our next big adventure will be the expansion, renovation, and modernization of the Hillview Library. That library will go from 10,000 square feet to anywhere from 18 to 20,000 square feet, using land that we already own. We just put the RFQ for the architect out for that, but that community has grown so much and is one of our older buildings that it now has a cultural presence that we have to recognize. They will also be getting a STEM lab at that will have a demonstration kitchen and a metal and woodworking for craftsmanship. We are looking into purchasing land for a new Mount Washington branch. We know Mount Washington is growing by leaps and bounds, and every inch costs more by the second. So we aren't looking to build anytime soon, but we want to go ahead and find a wonderful spot for the new Mount Washington Library's growth. So when we are ready to build, we'll have that prepared. And of course, we're still looking to work with the county and finding internet access to the west of 44, toward the Nichols and West Point area. Our library supports a lot of the school internet out there currently with our wireless and with our internet service, and we can only do so much alone. So we hope to work with the county to help you with that. This year, we are pleased, and our board president will be happy to know that we're announcing that the Bullitt County Library Board of Trustees has taken less than compensating tax rates for real property and a more than 2% less for tangible personal property this year. So not only are we taking less than compensating, or not taking compensating, we're taking significantly less for the 23-24 fiscal year. Okay? So I thank you for giving me your time and your pay attention. I don't want to take any more of your time. I know there's other people here for bigger reasons. So I want to end by offering to meet with each of you. My business card is on the flyers I handed out to you today, to discuss any way that the Bullitt County Public Library can assist you with any items that are priorities to you and to help you leave the legacy you wish for Bullitt County. So I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has about the Bullitt County Public Library. Yes, Judge.
Just go ahead.
Yes, whoever. Judge Summers?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Just one other quick note. Our EMS leadership team, thank you for allowing us, or we meet over there.
Yes.
That's where we have our regularly scheduled meetings in a nice, great big glass room.
Yes.
So that's terrific. And nobody else has a question. I'll make a motion to approve the step down of the library tax. It goes, Justin, from 6 point something to what?
It's our real tax will go from 5.8. Well, it's the compensating is 5.8 to
Right.
5.7.
Yeah,
Our personal tangible will go from 8.23 to 6.04.
0.4. There you go. And I will make that motion to approve the Bullitt County tax rate for the library.
I'll second that motion.
And I have a second by Second District Magistrate Logston. Kevin, call the roll.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blaymore?
Yes.
Thank you, and I
Thank
look forward
you.
to meeting with each of you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
so much for
Thank-
your presentation.
Thank you. It was terrific.
And all
Thank
this
you, Ms. Mann.
information here.
Okay.
Judge, I know on your newsletter here, that really jumps out at me. You know, we got about 80,000 residents, and it's amazing to me that 53,000 registered users, so, you know, 64%. That's
Yep.
really, seems like a real big number. That's really, so people are using the library.
Yes.
Real quick before we move, that library of things, is that taking, I mean, I've read about that. Is that taking off pretty good? People
Oh my
utilizing
goodness,
it?
we are purchasing over all the time new items every week to put in there because they don't stay on the shelf.
Okay, that's
They're
interesting.
at all 5 locations, so, and they move around. So if there's something that says Shepherdsville Central, and you want it in Mount Washington, we'll deliver it to Mount Washington, you can pick it up there.
That's cool.
Or we can even put it with a 24/7 machine outside Central that you can pick up, you will put it in a locker, and you can
Okay.
pick it up anytime you want to.
Okay. Thank you, Tara. At this time, Counselor, the second reading of zoning ordinance 23-26, John Reed Jr.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-26, an ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from B2 central business to R4 residential. The property in question is 2.9 acres more or less, located at Lot B, Yorkshire Boulevard, parcel number 019-W00-03-078 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2023Z-37, is hereby changed from B2 central business to R4 residential. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 15th day of August, 2023. Given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of September, 2023.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance of 23-37.
23-26.
I'll second that motion.
Got a motion to approve the planning and zoning recommendation of zoning ordinance 23-26, John Reed Jr. By First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Second District Magistrate Logsdon. Kevin, call a roll, please.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blamel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes. Thank you. Second reading of zoning ordinance 23-27, Ronald and Norma Lee.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-27, an ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 4.528 acres more or less, located at 4046 Knob Creek Road, parcel number 018-000-00-125 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, And whereas the fiscal court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the fiscal court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2023Z-38 is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 15th day of August 2023. Given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of September 2023.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the zoning ordinance 23-27.
Second.
Got a motion by 1st District Magistrate Sanders, a second by 4th District Magistrate Blamel to approve zoning ordinance 2327. Ronald and Norma Lee. Kevin, call a roll, please.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Blamel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Ms. Sanders.
Yes.
Thank you. Second reading of zoning ordinance 23-28. Larry and Carolyn Terry. Counselor?
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-28. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural and R2 residential to agricultural. The property in question is 16.714 acres more or less, located at 216 Bethel Church Road and 7502 Highway 44 East, parcel number 063-000-00-078 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the fiscal court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the fiscal court, and whereas the fiscal court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the fiscal court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky. Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2023Z-39 is hereby changed from agricultural and R2 residential to agricultural. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 15th day of August 2023, given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of September 2023.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'd like to put that in the form of a motion that we approve the recommendation of the Planning Commission for zoning ordinance 23-28.
I'd like to second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders to approve the recommendation by Planning and Zoning, Ordinance 2328, Larry and Carolyn Taylor. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Blamel,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes,
Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Logston.
Yes.
thank you. Second reading for zoning ordinance 2329, Larry and Carolyn Taylor.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-29. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural and R2 residential to R1 residential. The property in question is 32.25 acres more or less, located at 216 Bethel Church Road and 7502 Highway 44 East, parcel number 063-000-00-078 in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court. And whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission and docket number 2023Z-40, is hereby changed from agricultural and R2 residential to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 15th day of August 2023. Given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of September 2023.
Thank you, Tammy.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept and approve the recommendation of the Planning Commission for zoning ordinance 23-29 for Larry and Carolyn Terry.
I'd like to second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logsdon, a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders to approve the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Group 2329 to Larry and Carolyn Taylor. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Mr. Blingell,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. The second reading for zoning ordinance 2330, Cox Family Trust, Leslie Sandiford, or Lawrence Frank, trustees.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-30. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 1.507 acres more or less, located at 383 Kinder Lane, parcel number 065-000-00-033H, in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2023Z-42, is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 15th day of August 2023. Given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of September 2023.
I'll make a motion that we accept zoning ordinance 2330.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Blingell, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to accept the ruling of Planning and Zoning for zoning ordinance 23-30, the Cox Family Trust, Leslie Sandiford or Lawrence Frank trustees. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Hey, Judge, can I clarify something you said?
Yes.
Who was the second?
Ms. Johnson?
Ms. Johnson.
Yes. Uh-huh.
All right, we said second time.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Logston,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Blingell.
Yes.
Thank you all. And now we have a first reading and public hearing for zoning ordinance 23-31. Joe and Glenda Walls. I see Mr. Walls.
Planning docket 2023 Z44, Joe and Glenda Walls, seeking to rezone from Ag to R1, located at 491 Walls Hollow Lane, listed as PVA map number 027-000-00-030B in the unincorporated area of the county. 6.4 acres more or less. The purpose is to split off rear portion for the daughter to build a home. Comprehensive plan calls for low-density residential. The Bullitt County Planning Commission, pursuant to provisions of KRS 100.211, held a public hearing concerning the application on August 10th, 2023. Based upon the testimony of the applicants and the proponents, the Bullitt County Planning Commission finds the map amendment is in agreement with the community's comprehensive plan. Because of this, based on the testimony provided, the Bullitt County Planning Commission recommends this requested zoning change be approved and sends a favorable recommendation to Bullitt County Fiscal Court.
Thank you, Charlie. Tammy?
Commonwealth of Kentucky, County of Bullitt, zoning ordinance number 23-31. An ordinance relating to the changing of zoning of certain property from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 6.4 acres more or less, located at 491 Walls Hollow Lane, parcel number 027-000-00-030B in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing held by the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in the staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court, and whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in and adopts the reasons of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes, and determines that the proposed zoning change is acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission, in docket number 2023Z-44, is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Section 3, should any section, provision, or part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the remainder of this ordinance shall not be effective and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Given first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of September 2023, to be given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of September 2023.
Thank you, Ms. Baker. Anyone here to speak for zoning ordinance 23-31? Joe and Glenda Walls. Are you good, Mr. Walls? Okay. Anyone here to speak against zoning ordinance 23-31? Joe and Glenda Walls. Hearing none, thank you. The next, the second reading of that will be on the 19th. Thank you, sir. Second reading for zoning ordinance 23-07, relating to the regular meeting time and place for the fiscal court. Tammy, if you'll read the ordinance.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, Bullitt County Ordinance Number 23-07, an ordinance repealing Ordinance 19-15 relating to the regular meeting time and place for the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County, Kentucky. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has determined it to be advisable to change its regular meeting time, now therefore be it ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky as follows. Section 1, meeting time. The Bullitt Fiscal Court shall meet twice monthly on the first and third Tuesday of each month. Except as set out herein, the meeting shall commence at 9:30 a.m. On the first Tuesday of each March, June, September, and December, the meeting shall commence at 6:30 p.m. Section 2, meeting place. The Fiscal Court of Bullitt County shall continue to meet in the county seat per KRS 67.080 sub 1, located in the Bullitt Fiscal Courtroom, Bullitt County Courthouse, Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Section 3, severability. Should any section, subdivision, sentence, or clause of this ordinance be held unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, and such portion shall be deemed a separate, distinct, and independent provision, and such holding shall not affect the validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. Section 4, inconsistent ordinances repealed. All ordinances and resolutions or parts thereof, to the extent they are inconsistent herewith, are hereby repealed. Section 5, publication requirement. This ordinance shall take effect upon passage and publication as required by law. Given first reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the first day of August 2023. Given second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the fifth day of September 2023.
So I'll make a motion that we accept ordinance 2307 related to regular and meeting time and place.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion by 4th District Magistrate Blamel, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Johnson to accept zoning ordinance 23-07. Kevin, call the roll.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blamel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes. Thank you all. Surplus items for the Sheriff's Office. Walt?
Judge, this is a request for us to have you all consider surplusing a 2016 Ford Explorer, VIN number 1FM5KA5GGA1ZZ34. And it's, 7 years old, high mileage.
Yep.
Number next is another 2016 Ford Explorer, VIN number 1FMS1HHARXGGA12228. Same reasons. Next is a Lenovo Yoga 720-151KB, serial number MP1CM88. Strike that. Let me redo the serial number. MP1CM8C AMTM:80X7001SUS. It's a laptop computer. It's old and about wore out. Then next is a Nighthawk Hotspot IMEI 05161003328781. The reason that the new MD mobile data terminals that we have built-in hotspots in them, so we don't need those to have these little hotspot boxes any longer. And then finally, a custom signals Eagle radar, serial number EM23636/EW23503.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff. I'll put that in the form of a motion to approve the surplus items for the Sheriff's Department.
I'll second.
And I have a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logston. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Blamel?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Ms. Sanders?
Yes.
And Walt, the next one's your two. It's a budget amendment, and the budget amendment is for, you can explain it, I can't
Yes,
do
sir.
either way, so.
If the court recalls, back in June, you
Right.
all approved and included in your 23-24 budget are these amounts, and what we're asking is for you all to amend our budget to mirror the changes you all put in your budget, and we need that to keep our budget straight as
Yeah.
we finish out the year.
Yeah, and absolutely, because your budget is January to December.
Yes,
Ours
sir.
goes from the fiscal
if
year to
you-
fiscal year.
And it's $249,000 for
The
employee,
raises, yes.
$350,000 for one piece of equipment, $95,000 to do repairs on the old Red Cross building that we refer to as our special operations facility, and then that covers it.
And I will put that in the form of a motion.
One second.
I have a second by 1st District Magistrate Sanders. At this time, Kevin, call the roll.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Blingell,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Ms. Sanders.
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Walt. Thank you, Justin. At this time, let me see where the second page of this is at here. We have the appointment of Billy Ashby to the Nichols Fire District, term expires 6/30/2026, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
I second.
I have a second by First District Magistrate Sanders. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Blingell,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson.
Yes.
Thank you. Number 11, new hires for EMS and animal control. We'll start with animal control first. Clayton Etherton, full-time kennel attendant, $14.25 an hour, effective 8/24/23. And then also Lillian Mosley, part-time kennel attendee, $14.25, effective the 8th, which is this Friday. And I'm going to put that in the form of a motion to hire both.
I second.
Got a second by First District Magistrate Sanders. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Mr. Blingell,
Yes.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you. Second item, EMS, new hires. Justin Lewis, full-time paramedic, $27 an hour, 9/13/2023. Chris Allen, full-time EMT, $19.50 an hour, effective today, 9/5/23. Bonnie Durbin, full-time administrative support for $19 an hour, effective 9/25/23. Do what?
Justin Lewis needs to be effective today.
Oh, today?
Yes, I'm sorry, I rushed you to do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We'll correct that from 9/13 and 9/5. Thank you, Janice. I'm putting those hires in the form of a motion.
I'll second that.
Got a second by Second District Magistrate Logsdon. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Blingell.
Yes.
Thank you. And then we have some adjustments. Stephen Cousins has been promoted to a supervisor. Stephen was making $21.50 an hour. We're asking for a 50-cent an hour raise because now he is now a assistant supervisor with EMS. And Savannah Childress has earned her EMT advanced. This increases her hourly rate to $21.50 an hour from EMS pay. And I will put that in the form of a motion.
I second.
I got 2 seconds. Vera, second by First District Magistrate Sanders. Kevin, call the roll, please.
Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
Mr. Lawson,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Blingell,
Yes.
Judge Summers.
Yes. And the last thing on the agenda is Resolution 23-06. Make sure we have this right. Changing the name of Cupio Lane to Cupio Lodge Road. It's off 5-way 44, mile point 0.823.
Commonwealth of Kentucky, Bullitt County, Resolution Number 23-06. A resolution changing the official name of Cupio Lane to Cupio Lodge Road. Whereas there has been discovered a discrepancy in the official name of Cupio Lodge Road, now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1. Henceforth, the county roadway locally known as Cupio Lodge Road and officially known as Cupio Lane shall officially be named Cupio Lodge Road from Highway 44 West to mile point 0.823.
Thank you, Tammy. I'm going to put this in the form of a motion,
I'll second the motion.
and I have a second by First District Magistrate Sanders. And And for a little bit of discussion, the name change was so we can get our emergency funds for where the road had washed out. Kevin, call the roll.
Judge Summers,
Yes.
Ms. Sanders,
Yes.
Robertson,
Yes.
Ms. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Brian, any comments, questions, concerns?
Only comment I've got is, I've had some people reach out to me. There's a couple of roads in my area, people are speeding on. It's Longview Drive, and Meadowland Trail.
Longview Drive.
Meadowland Trail. They're both posted 25 miles an hour, but it's kind of more in the afternoon when school's out and people are coming home, but they're doing probably in excess of 50 and 60 miles an hour on straight street.
Here's what I'll be able to do, Brian, is I will get back over and we'll get Captain Mills to set out some extra traffic patrol there, and we'll get somebody set up over there to run radar, and I can't do it all the time, but for an extended period, but we'll try to take it just for a little while, a few days, we'll take them be in and out, maybe longer, because here's what happens. If there's a straight stretch or whatever, and Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, or Sue come driving along, and they see a police car running down there, they're gonna slow down. So what I try to do is get a spot where we can take them and hide a police car, because that way, folks, as time goes by, they get to thinking, well, I better slow down because there may or may not be a police car up here, and we'll try that.
All right.
And let folks know as they do, like, if they call our office and ask for extra patrol, we try to be responsive and get some folks out there if we get a direct call from somebody. So, but I can assure you, we'll be seeing to it that we get some folks out there in response to you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Yeah, and rest assured that it's still a little bit down on to what Walt is saying. Every request that we've made as a judge's office or fiscal court, they've responded because we get copies of the citations as well.
And if on that same token, I got a letter from a fella that lives on North Lakeview. And that North Lakeview has a 25-mile-an-hour speed zone on it. And if you recall, it's a very, very long, straight road. And this guy, he's saying that he's pointed out that we come out there, we have somebody there for a day, or we have somebody there for a few hours. That's really just, we have 3 to 5 people that are patrolling 300 square miles, so I don't have a traffic division. But this guy has asked me to bring up to the court to consider raising the speed limit to 35 on North Lakeview. I'm not in a spot that I would say that it needs to be done or that it doesn't need to be done, but in honor of, or to kind of honor his request, I did take and bring that to your all's attention.
Okay, thank you, Walt. Anything else, Brian?
No, well, I will mention that, so the road department did pave Greenville Ford. A lot of people know it as the River Bottoms Road. It was much needed, and most people are very appreciative.
Okay, thank you.
That's wonderful.
Karen?
Yep, and I just have some road issues I need to talk to Robert and Kay about. We'll get those cleared up.
Okay, anything else? Sean?
I'll bring up a couple roads that I've got consistent calls. We talked the other day, but maybe address the court. Keen's Church Road over in my area in District 2. It's a state road, of course, but I'm getting a lot of calls about the condition of that road and how bad it is. So I know there were some plans down the road to pave that, but any additional pressure we can put on the state or help Keen's Church Road. Also, I've got a request from a group of 5 or 6 people, and this, I'd like for you to look into this, Sheriff, before we make any recommendations. This is a state road. We can't dictate the speed limit, but on that same note Brian brought up, I've had 5 or 6 people reach out about Waterford Road. It's my understanding at some point in some areas that's 45, and I've had several reach out and want to reduce the speed limit to 35 because of the congestion and new subdivisions and stuff. Don't know. I mean, it'd obviously be something if we think it's worth looking into. that we'd probably want to put a letter or something in the state like we've done in other areas. But I'd like for you to take a look at that and see what you think before I even move forward with that. But Kings Church Road is just one that I'm consistently getting calls about. I just want to bring that up so we can put any pressure. I do have a note. It kind of fell in line with this dump truck, and I don't know. I haven't heard anything about this. I don't know if anybody in the room has or not. But I was going through some emails, and I got an email from some nonprofit, and I don't know if there's any truth to this or not, but it falls in line with the dump truck. From a group called Go Rail, they said that currently there's legislation in place in Congress to pass a 10-year pilot program to move the weight of trucks from 80,000 to 91,000. So I know we're consistently looking at, and that would affect all of our roads. So I don't know, it's a kind of a solicitation email, but I haven't heard anything about it. But they said it's actually legislation being considered in Congress right now to raise the limit from 80,000 to 91,000. I don't know if anybody else has heard that or seen that. I can share that email, but it might be something to talk to, or I guess that'd be Brett Guthrie, that'd be done on a national level. That's higher up, but that is something to be wary of because we're always on our county roads looking at the weight of trucks, and they're talking about a 14% increase for the next 10 years possibly. So it's something I've seen. I thought I'd just bring it up.
I've seen it also.
Did you?
But and raising the weights is bad on any road as far as wear and tear.
Yep. Okay. Thank you all.
That's all I got.
Vera?
I have nothing to say. Road department has been doing a great job out in my area, repairing, keeping alive roads, along with cutting overhang brush. I really have no complaints. They're taking care of me.
Okay. Thank you, Vera. And my closing comments is this: Brian and Chris is here, and I would like to give them a personal thanks for their efforts. We use 2 to 4 to 6 inmates literally every day, and that helps. That only helps them and our community, but it also helps us with being able to meet our budget needs as well. We literally have 2 at the Parks Department, working with Miss Foster every day. And if you get the opportunity, you need to get out to the Maryville Park. You need to go out to Highway 245 and see how they have helped clean up the area with what they've done, and also the support that they've given the city of Shepherdsville, Lebanon Junction, Hillview, and some in Mount Washington as well. When you look at the exits and stuff coming off of here at 117, Brian, I can't say enough about what all they've helped to contribute to and what they've done. And we hope that we can move this forward and keep doing what you're doing. And it not only helps our community, but I'm hoping it's teaching them a trade as well and responsibility. I would also like to thank Ms. Preston from the Lebanon Junction City Council for being here today, Mr. Hibbert from the Shepherdsville City Council, and Mayor Taylor for being here. But also this Saturday, September the 9th, it's a real important day. We're doing a fundraiser for our paramedic who was severely injured in an accident in Louisville 4 or 5 months ago. He's been through multiple weeks of intensive care, rehab, and it's at the Bullitt County Fairgrounds this weekend. It starts at noon and it goes to 9 a.m. You name the game or the opportunity, it's going to be there for it. But there's also going to be a really good car show from 5 to 9. So if you get the opportunity to get out and help support us in our efforts to raise an additional funding for one of our own. I mean, a paramedic that was doing his job, and he was thrown from the vehicle and spent many an hour in intensive care or ICU at the University of Louisville Trauma Center, and then over to the Frazier Rehab. So at this time, I don't have any. Yes, ma'am? That's right. Yeah, and the hazardous waste is this September 9th as well. So. Okay, gotcha. So at this time, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
It's 2:25 and I make a motion to adjourn.
There you go. Got a motion by First District Magistrate Sanders, a second by Fourth District Magistrate Bleemel. Kevin, call a roll to adjourn the Bullitt County Fiscal. We got it. We got it. Yeah.
Mr. Longston?
Yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Lingle?
Yes.
Dr. Simon?
Yes.